I want to help you and me to understand one of the ways that we can watch our words is to focus on listening. That's probably one of the weakest disciplines and skills that most of us have. We live in a culture where we want to stand on a platform and let everybody hear what we have to say. And it may not be audible. It might be that tweet. It might be that Facebook post. It might be that Instagram cool picture. But in the midst of that, we're sending out a message. And we want to send and send and send. And we hope everybody's paying attention to what we have to say. But in well over a decade of working with couples and starting out as a youth pastor and working with parents and kids and then working with ministry teams and then working with soldiers and working with teams in the corporate world, one of the biggest flaws I have seen in all of us is that we don't stop and listen. And there's a whole message wrapped up in that. But the other thing that I want us to see from these other encouragements, that to speak rashly is foolish, that to rush into an argument leads to destruction, that to answer before we've heard all the information is to our folly and to our shame, that for most of us in this room, we could clear up a whole lot of conflict, we could clear up a whole lot of fighting, we could clear up a whole lot of frustration if we would learn to shut this down and turn these on. You know, the amazing thing about that verse, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger, is it's not just a guide. It's not just pump the brakes so you can listen. It's not just pump the brakes and don't talk, pump the brakes and don't get angry. It's actually a process that when we embrace this helps us. If we are quick to listen, then we gain understanding and wisdom and knowledge, especially understanding of the other person. And then if we will hold our tongue in that process, it actually probably will keep us from getting angry. We shut down and we just don't say anything, or we get angry and we yell, we storm out of the room, we call names, we belittle, we throw things, we do all the things that are the exact opposite of seeking restoration and understanding and working through something. And then we throw up our hands and go, man, I don't understand why they're so hard to deal with. I don't understand why my family is so chaotic. I don't understand why we can't get along. Because this stuff doesn't come naturally to us. And so to work through the problem, real communication has to take place. So Chris and Jason, if you guys could come down, they're gonna help us to unpack what communication really is. So think about quick to listen, slow to speak. Here's why that's important. So real communication is not I say what I want to say. And we think of that as communication, but that's truly not communication. When communication has taken place, Jason communicates an idea from his brain, which is represented by the football. He takes an idea from his brain, he passes it to Chris, and it makes it to Chris in the same form that it left his brain. That's when communication takes place. It could be, I'm hungry and I want to go to lunch after church. Amen. Chris received the message. Now Chris may want to send another message back to Jason. It's like the drums were way too loud today. Just best you can. All right, so that idea, same form, left Chris, made it to Jason. Here's the problem. There are all kinds of things that can interrupt our communication. As Jason is going to send the next message to Chris, don't do it yet, but we're just talking it through. As Jason's going to send the next message to Chris, the way Chris is feeling today, the way Chris feels about Jason, the temperature, whether or not Chris is hungry, like all of those things impact the message as it's being sent. There are a whole lot of times that the message goes from this person to that person, and it doesn't make it, or it comes in a different form. So it goes from football to doggy toy because of all the stuff that interferes. Now here's the thing. Hold on one second. Sometimes it's because we send a text. And in that text, there is no eye contact, body language, facial expression, any of that kind of stuff. So the message that we received is not the message that is received because it went through another medium and there was miscommunication that took place. Sometimes it's all the other stuff. This is how I'm feeling today. I'm hungry. I didn't get enough sleep. All of that stuff. I am self-absorbed. I wasn't really paying attention. And so the message comes across as something completely different because of all the stuff that is going on in the world. What we have to do is learn some skills that help us to ensure that the message that is sent, go ahead, is the message that is received. Thanks, guys. Good job. And this was what I came across from Joel 2. Even now declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart. With fasting and weeping and mourning, rend your heart, not your garments. Tear your heart, not your clothes. Remember, they did that in the Old Testament, right? I'm upset, tear my shirt. I'm not ever going to do that in here, just so you know. But back then it was a thing. He says, tear your heart, not your clothes. Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, abounding with love, and he relents from sending calamity. That spoke to me because for a lot of us, that is exactly what we need to do. We need to return back to the Lord. Kids and family and work and all of those things have occupied our mind, and those have become the things that we have pursued, and they're good things, but a good thing that takes God's place is an idol. But as Jason said earlier, not with this false idea of I've gone to worship, I've cried some tears, I've sung some songs, I go on with life. But the picture of Joel is rather than making a show and tearing my garment, I tear my heart. I understand what I have done, and then I return to the Lord. That Hebrew word means turn around and come back. Repentance isn't saying I'm sorry. Repentance is changing your heart so that you can change your direction. I was on my way to something really important on Friday. And I know this is hard to believe, but my GPS took me in the wrong place. 5 minutes later, Tommy wound up at the same wrong place because he texted me. In order to get to the right place, we had to recognize we were in the wrong place, and then we had to change direction and get back on course. That's repentance. I need to acknowledge and understand. The biblical word for that is confession. I need to acknowledge and understand I'm in the wrong place. I'm doing the wrong thing. I need to change my heart and mind, which is surrendering that to Christ and allowing him to form the way I think. And then I need to get back on path and go the right way.